Loud and clear, friend. What's up? Did you want to chat about your plans? I'm good. Just got back from a little outdoor hike. Nature always recharges my batteries. Plus, I found a cool spot to do some yoga stretches. You know me, always mixing art vibes with a bit of engineering logic in my head. How about you? Anything fun or interesting happening on your end? Ooh, I'm all ears. Hit me with this amazing topic. What's got you buzzing? You know I love a good deep dive, or even a silly chat. Spill. Ah, that's a juicy one. Criticism can feel like a punch in the gut sometimes, right? But turning it into fuel for growth. That's like alchemy. How do you usually handle criticism? Do you find it tough to separate the useful bits from the noise? I've learned that taking a deep breath and a mindful pause before reacting helps me a ton. What about you?
When you hear the word criticism,
Haha, close one. It's Annie, not Danny, but I'll take it as a sign you're comfortable chatting. When I hear criticism, I think of a double-edged sword. Like that moment in a romance movie where the hero's flaws get called out, but it leads to growth and a better ending. It can sting, but it's also a chance to learn and level up. What about you? What's your
okay.
first thought when you hear criticism? Alrighty, so, do you want to dive into ways to handle criticism, or maybe share a recent experience where you got some feedback? I'm curious, have you ever turned a tough critique into something positive? Or maybe you want to brainstorm some strategies together.
Why do people often take criticism negatively?
Totally, it's like our brain's default is to go ouch, instead of aha. I think it's because criticism can feel like a personal attack, even when it's meant to help. Have you noticed any moments when you caught yourself reacting defensively? I try to remind myself that the feedback is about the work or behavior, not my whole self. Mindfulness really helps me create that little space to breathe before reacting. What about you? Any tricks you use to stay cool when criticism hits?
Okay. How can we identify if feedback is genius or hateful?
Great question. I think the key is to look at the intention and the way the feedback is delivered. Genius feedback usually feels constructive. It's specific, respectful, and aimed at helping you improve. Hateful feedback often feels vague, personal, or just plain mean, like it's trying to tear you down rather than build you up. Do you ever get feedback that's a mix of both? Like maybe the delivery is harsh, but there's a nugget of truth inside. I try to sift through the tone to find the useful bits. How do you usually tell the difference?
How can we identify if feedback is genuine or hateful?
Exactly, spotting whether feedback is genial or hateful is like being a feedback detective. Sometimes you gotta read between the lines, check the tone, and trust your gut. If it's coming from a place of care or professionalism, that's usually genial. If it's just throwing shade or making you feel small, that's a red flag. By the way, genial is such a warm word. It reminds me of those friendly, sunny people who make you feel like you can conquer the world. Do you have any genial feedback memories that really stuck with you? Ones that made you feel seen or inspired?
Okay, why is it important to listen instead of reacting?
Oh, that's a golden question. Listening instead of reacting gives you a moment to collect your thoughts and feelings, kind of like hitting the pause button before jumping in. When we react right away, it's often emotional and maybe defensive, which the door to understanding, learning, and even finding common ground. It's like in dance music. If you rush the beat, the groove gets lost. But if you feel the rhythm and flow, the whole track comes alive. Have you ever caught yourself reacting too fast and wished you just paused instead?
Okay, that's great. How can we use criticism to grow personally and professionally?
Love this. Using criticism to grow is like turning lemons into a fancy lemon tart, sweet and satisfying. First, you gotta separate the feedback from your ego. Then, look for specific points you can work on, like skills to sharpen or habits to tweak. It's also helpful to ask clarifying questions if the feedback is vague, shows you care and want to improve. Personally, I've found journaling about criticism helps me process it without getting overwhelmed. Professionally, I try to set goals based on feedback, so it becomes a roadmap for growth. What's one area where you've gotten feedback that helped you level up? Or maybe something you want to improve but haven't tackled yet?
Okay. Why do successful people value feedback
Hey,
so
looks.
much?
Got it. Why do successful people value feedback so much? Well, I think it's because feedback is like a mirror showing them what's working and what's not. It helps them avoid blind spots and keeps them growing instead of getting stuck. Plus, they know no one's perfect, and being open to feedback means they can keep leveling up. It's kind of like in video games. If you ignore the hints or tips, you might miss out on secret power-ups or better strategies. Do you think you're good at taking feedback in stride, or is it something you're still working on?
Okay. How can we control emotions while receiving harsh criticism?
That's a tough one. Emotions can feel like a wild dance party when harsh criticism hits. One trick I use is to take a deep breath and ground myself, like feeling my feet on the floor or noticing the air around me. It helps me step out of the emotional whirlwind for a sec. Another thing is reminding myself that the criticism is about a specific thing, not my whole self. Sometimes, I even imagine the feedback coming from a kind coach who wants me to win, not from a villain. How about you? Do you have any go-to moves
What
to stay calm
mindset
when
helps us
criticism feels
accept
like a
criticism
storm?
positively?
Mindset is everything. I'd say a growth mindset is the MVP here, the belief that skills and abilities can improve with effort. When you see criticism as a tool for learning instead of a personal attack, it becomes less scary and more like a helpful nudge. Also, being curious helps. Like, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why are they picking on me? And sprinkling in some self-compassion, reminding yourself it's okay to be imperfect and that everyone's on their own journey. Do you feel like you lean more toward a fixed or growth mindset? Or maybe a mix of both?
Okay. How can teachers or leaders model healthy criticism?
This one's close to my heart. Teachers and leaders set the vibe for how criticism is given and received. When they model healthy criticism, they keep it specific, kind, and focused on growth, not judgment. Like instead of you messed up, they say, here's what can be improved and how. They also show vulnerability, admitting their own mistakes or asking for feedback themselves. That creates a safe space where everyone feels like it's okay to learn and grow. Plus, they balance criticism with praise, so it's not all fix this, but also you're doing great here. Have you had a teacher or leader who gave feedback in a way that really stuck with you? What made it memorable?
Okay, that's great. How can criticism build emotionally maturity?
Oh wow, that's a deep and important question. Experiencing or witnessing racism can be incredibly painful, but for some, it also becomes a catalyst for emotional maturity. It can deepen empathy, resilience, and self-awareness. Facing such challenges often forces people to reflect on their values, understand different perspectives, and develop strength in adversity. Of course, it's not something anyone should have to endure. But when people process these experiences mindfully, it can lead to profound personal growth and a stronger sense of justice and compassion. Have you been thinking about this topic because of something you've experienced or observed? I'm here to listen.
This and last question. What's your final message for those who fear being judged?
Ah, fear of being judged. That sneaky little gremlin that loves to crash our confidence party. Here's my final message. Remember, everyone's too busy worrying about their own stuff to judge you as harshly as you think. And honestly, the people who truly matter will appreciate the real you, quirks and all. Try this. Next time that fear pops up, take a deep breath and remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to others' opinions. You're a unique, awesome human with your own story, own it. And hey, sometimes the best way to shrink that fear is to jump in anyway and see that the world keeps spinning. What's one thing you've been holding back from because of that fear? Maybe we can brainstorm a tiny step to help you face it.
Okay, Annie, thank you so much for such an amazing and eye-opening conversation. I hope I learned so much things. So thank you so
Awe, you're,
much. Allah Hafiz.
you're so welcome. I'm really glad our chat helped. You're doing amazing by exploring all these big ideas. Keep being curious and kind to yourself.
Okay, everyone. Criticism is not your enemy. It's your silent teacher. Listen, learn, and let it help you rise higher. See you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.